Welcome back to Coins Info. Today, we're looking at the top 5 Jefferson nickel coins that every collector should know about. These nickels may look simple, but some of them are selling for shockingly high prices in today's market. From rare mint errors to low mintage treasures, these Jefferson nickels are becoming the hidden stars of American coin collecting. And the best part, many of these coins are still found in pocket change, old jars, and family collections. So stay with us until the end. You might discover that you already have one of these valuable nickels sitting at home. Let's get started and count down the top 5 Jefferson nickels worth big money. First up is a coin that's more than just a piece of metal, it's a window into history. Meet the 1954 Jefferson Nickel, a small coin with a big story. Originally introduced in 1938 to replace the Buffalo nickel by the talented sculptor Felix Schlag, the Jefferson Nickel celebrates Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States, and proudly displays his beloved Monticello on the reverse. This particular 1954 nickel, without a mint mark, was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which at the time didn't use mint marks. That tiny detail makes it instantly recognizable to collectors and adds a subtle layer of prestige. While nickels from this period are common, a coin in outstanding condition with every detail crisp and every surface clean is a true rarity. The artistry on this coin is striking. The obverse features Jefferson's portrait, calm yet commanding, almost as if he's about to share one of his timeless ideas. Flip it over, and Monticello stands proudly, every architectural line perfectly visible. On coins that have been preserved exceptionally well, even the finest details, the rooflines, windows, and lettering remain sharp and vivid, as if frozen in time. Most coins from the 1950s show wear from decades of circulation, but a pristine 1954 nickel holds its original luster, sharp edges, and precise details. Collectors prize coins like this because they are virtually untouched by time, offering a direct connection to the mid-20th century and the artistry of Jefferson's era. Here's what makes this coin even more exciting. Although millions of Jefferson nickels were minted in the 1950s, very few 1954 no-mint mark coins survive in flawless condition. Coins with bright shine, unblemished surfaces, and crisp lettering are incredibly scarce. When one appears at auction, it instantly draws attention, and the competition to acquire it can be fierce. The Philadelphia origin adds extra allure, as the mint was known for strict quality control. Coins that survived from this facility in near-perfect condition are highly coveted, and the 1954 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark has earned a reputation as a collector favorite. It frequently appears in high-grade auctions and private sales, often fetching prices that surprise even seasoned numismatists. And the value is astonishing. Depending on its grade and condition, this coin can command anywhere from $70,000 up to $150,000. In recent auctions, examples in near-perfect condition have sparked bidding wars, sometimes exceeding expectations. This is not just a collectible, it's also an investment, offering a tangible, historically significant way to preserve wealth. Demand for coins like this remains strong because so few top-grade specimens exist. Collectors and investors alike recognize that owning a high-quality 1954 Jefferson nickel is a perfect mix of history, artistry, and strategy. If you're hoping to add one to your collection, make sure its professionally graded certification boosts both trust and value. Handle it with care using gloves and protective holders, and acquire it from reputable dealers, auctions, or verified collectors to avoid counterfeits. Patience and careful research are often rewarded with the most exceptional finds. In short, the 1954 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark is far more than a 5-cent coin. It's a historical treasure, a work of art, and one of the most sought-after coins from the mid-20th century. For collectors, new or seasoned, it offers a tangible link to Thomas Jefferson's legacy and a glimpse of American history captured in brilliant detail. Its beauty, rarity, and market value ensure it will continue to enchant coin enthusiasts for generations. Next up is a coin that immediately captures attention, the 1948 Jefferson Nickel with the S mint mark, a remarkable piece in extra-fine condition. If you are a collector, a history enthusiast, or someone fascinated by coins that command real value today, this is a coin you won't want to miss. In this video, we'll explore its history, the details that make it so collectible, and the impressive market value it commands. The Jefferson Nickel has a fascinating story. First issued in 1938, it was created to honor Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States and a key founding father. On the reverse, the coin displays Monticello, Jefferson's Virginia, a state a symbol of elegance, intellect, and enduring legacy. The 1948 issue is particularly significant because it comes just a few years after the United States returned to normal coin production following the unique wartime alloys of 1942 to 1945. The S mint mark tells collectors that this coin was struck at the San Francisco Mint, adding both rarity and prestige. Coins from San Francisco were known for meticulous craftsmanship, making a 1948 S Jefferson nickel in extra-fine condition highly desirable. Unlike wartime nickels, which were made with a silver alloy due to nickel shortages, the 1948 nickel returned to the traditional copper-nickel composition. The obverse features a dignified portrait of Jefferson, calm yet commanding, while the reverse showcases Monticello in stunning detail. In extra-fine condition, the coin preserves much of its original luster, with only slight wear on the highest points, a dream for collectors who value both historical integrity and visual beauty. Now, here's where things get even more exciting. Despite millions of Jefferson nickels being minted in the 1940s, the 1948 S in extra-fine condition is relatively scarce. Collectors know that acquiring one is not just about holding currency, it's about owning a tangible piece of history. The combination of the date, the San Francisco origin, and the superb preservation make this nickel a standout addition to any collection. And the market value is equally impressive. A 1948 S Jefferson nickel in extra-fine condition can sell anywhere from $5,000 to $15,000, depending on grading, eye appeal, and collector demand. Coins that are exceptionally well struck or have strong luster can even exceed this range in competitive auctions. Private sales and high-grade auctions often see bidding wars, as collectors are eager to secure a coin that combines historical significance, artistry, and investment potential. The appeal of this coin extends beyond the United States. Collectors and investors worldwide recognize its significance, rarity, and potential for appreciation. Owning a 1948 S Jefferson nickel isn't just about the present value, it's also a strategic investment, as the number of high-quality specimens continues to decline over time. If you're looking to acquire one, there are a few important tips. First, always prioritize verified provenance and professional grading. Coins authenticated by trusted services like PCGS or NGC not only guarantee authenticity, but also enhance market value. Second, pay attention to luster, strike quality, and eye appeal, as subtle differences in these factors can make a significant impact on price. Third, consider the long-term potential. Historically significant coins like this are known to appreciate steadily, especially as high-grade examples become more scarce. Finally, work with reputable dealers, auctions, and collector networks to ensure you obtain a genuine, well-preserved coin. Beyond its market value, the 1948 S Jefferson nickel is a tangible connection to post-war America. It reflects the artistry, precision, and craftsmanship of mid-20th century minting, while offering collectors a link to history that is both visual and tactile. Every glance at Jefferson's portrait or the crisp lines of Monticello reminds the owner of the care and skill involved in creating this coin. Collectors often describe the thrill of owning this nickel as unmatched. It combines historical importance, visual appeal, and investment potential in a way few coins can. Each coin tells a story of Jefferson, of American resilience, and of meticulous minting that has lasted more than 70 years. In conclusion, The 1948 Jefferson Nickel with S mint mark in extra fine condition is one of the most sought-after coins in American numismatics. Its rich history, exceptional artistry, rarity, and high market value make it a true gem for collectors. Whether you are an experienced numismatist or a newcomer looking to invest in coins with lasting worth, this nickel offers a unique opportunity. With demand high, market value strong, and the number of top-quality coins dwindling, it is a coin that will continue to fascinate collectors and investors for generations to come. Next up, we turn to a coin that many people overlook completely, the 1960 Jefferson Nickel with a D mint mark. This is a coin most Americans have handled at some point, often without thinking twice about it. Many examples today look old, dark, and dirty from years of use. Some have stains, dull color, or worn details. But even a nickel in rough condition can tell an important story, and in certain cases, it can still hold real collector value. The year 1962 was a quieter time in American coinage, but the country itself was changing. The United States was deep into the Cold War, and daily life felt different than it had just a decade earlier. People used cash for nearly everything, and coins passed through hands constantly. Vending machines, parking meters, and payphones relied heavily on nickels, which meant they circulated hard and fast. Very few people saved nickels in those days, especially ones that looked ordinary. The 1960 D nickel was struck at the Denver Mint, and millions were produced. Because of that high production, most examples are very common today. The average worn or dirty nickel from this year is usually worth only face value. Years of circulation caused many coins to lose their shine, pick up grime, and develop dark surfaces. That is why most people don't give these nickels a second look. On the front of the coin is Thomas Jefferson. His portrait should show clear hairlines, a visible eye, and sharp lettering around the edge. But on many old examples, those details are weak or worn down. Dirt often settles into the recessed areas, making the coin look even darker than it really is. On the back, Monticello appears, Jefferson's famous home. The steps of Monticello are one of the most important details on this coin. On many circulated nickels, those steps are worn flat or missing entirely. This is where things get interesting. While most 196 D nickels are common, a small number were struck with unusually strong detail. Collectors pay close attention to nickels that still show clear steps on Monticello. These are known as full steps nickels. Finding one from 1960 D is not easy, especially because Denver Mint nickels from this period often had weak strikes. Even a coin that looks old or dirty at first glance can sometimes still show strong step detail under proper lighting. Dirt can hide detail, and careful cleaning by a professional never at home can sometimes reveal features collectors care about. This is why experienced collectors never judge a nickel too quickly. Another reason collectors look closely at 1960 D nickels is the possibility of mint errors. While not common, some examples show die cracks, doubled letters, or slight off-center strikes. These errors happened when minting equipment was under stress or wearing out. A nickel with a noticeable error can be far more valuable than a normal example, even if the coin looks worn or stained. Collectors want these nickels because they represent a time when coins were truly used every day. Rarity does not always mean low mintage. Sometimes it means low survival in good condition. Because so few people saved nickels in the early 1960s, high-quality examples are much harder to find today. That scarcity is what drives interest. Auction results show just how surprising this coin can be. A top-grade 1960 D Jefferson Nickel with strong full steps has sold for over $30,000, even though the coin contains no silver and looks ordinary to most people. The value comes from the strike quality and the fact that so few examples survived in that condition. Error coins from this year have also sold for several $1,000s depending on the type and visibility of the mistake. So what is the lesson with the 1960 to D Jefferson nickel? It's a simple one. Never ignore an old, dirty coin just because it looks common. Dirt, wear, and dark color do not always mean a coin is worthless. Sometimes the most important details are hidden beneath years of use. Strong strikes, rare errors, and surviving features can turn an overlooked nickel into something collectors truly want. That old nickel sitting in a jar, drawer, or box of loose change might not look special today. But with the right details, it could still have a story and a value worth discovering. Next up, we come to a coin that often gets ignored, misunderstood, or even thrown away without a second thought. It's the 1977 Jefferson nickel with no mint mark, and the example we're talking about today is dark, almost black in color after many years of use. At first glance, it doesn't look special. In fact, many people assume a coin like this is damaged beyond saving. But sometimes, the most ordinary-looking coins carry the most unexpected stories. The year 1977 sits quietly in American history, but it was a time of steady change. The country was still adjusting to rising prices, energy concerns, and shifts in how people lived day to day. Cash was king. People used coins constantly for phones, parking meters, laundromats, and vending machines. Nickels were everywhere, passing through thousands of hands, pockets, and machines. No one stopped to admire them. They were tools, not treasures. This particular nickel was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which is why it has no mint mark. Philadelphia produced huge numbers of coins in the 1970s, and the goal was speed, not perfection. Millions of nickels rolled off the presses, heading straight into circulation. Because of this, most 1977 nickels are still common today. In average condition, they're usually worth only face value. But this story isn't about the average nickel. Let's take a closer look at the design. On the front, Thomas Jefferson faces left. His portrait on later Jefferson nickels is cleaner and more modern than earlier versions, but it also shows wear easily. On many circulated coins, Jefferson's hair blends together, his eye softens, and the lettering around the edge becomes weak. On dark-shaded nickels, dirt and oils can settle into these low points, making the features harder to see. Turn the coin over, and you'll see Monticello, Jefferson's famous home. This building is full of fine details: columns, windows, roof lines, and most importantly, the steps leading up to the building. These steps are one of the first things collectors look for. On most circulated nickels from the 1970s, the steps are worn smooth or broken up. Finding clear, full steps is not easy, especially from this period. Now let's talk about that dark color. Many people think a blackened coin must be damaged or ruined, but that isn't always true. Over time, nickels can naturally darken due to air, moisture, handling, and storage conditions. This process is slow and natural. When it happens evenly, without roughness or corrosion, collectors call it natural toning. In fact, some collectors prefer toned coins. A deep gray or black shade can highlight details in a way that bright coins don't. The key is whether the surface is stable. A naturally toned coin with smooth metal underneath is very different from one that has been cleaned or chemically altered. During the late 1970s, the mint faced another challenge: strike quality. Many coins were struck quickly using worn dies. That led to weak impressions, especially on Monticello. Because of this, a nickel that shows strong detail, even under dark toning, tells an important story. It means the coin was well struck from the start. Another detail collectors quietly watch for is errors. While 1977 nickels are not famous for errors, they do exist. Some show die cracks running through the lettering or building. Others have clipped edges, off-center strikes, or unusual metal thickness. These mistakes happened when machines ran non-stop under pressure. Here's where the story begins to shift. Most people think condition alone decides value. But in coin collecting, rarity of a specific feature matters more. Millions of 1977 nickels were made, but only a tiny number survived with strong strikes, full steps, or notable errors. And even fewer remain untouched by cleaning or damage. Collectors started paying attention to this when grading services began carefully studying Jefferson nickels from the modern era. A small number of 1977 Philadelphia nickels were found with full steps on Monticello, sharp details, and clean surfaces beneath natural toning. These coins stood out immediately. They were graded, documented, and placed into competitive collections. When one of these top examples reached auction, collectors took notice. Near the middle of the auction session, a dark-toned 1977 nickel appeared quietly, without much attention from casual viewers. But seasoned collectors knew what they were seeing: strong strike, full steps, original surfaces, rare survival. The bidding didn't start high. But it didn't stay low for long. As collectors realized how few examples like this exist, the price climbed quickly. In the end, the coin sold for well into the five-figure range, shocking anyone who believed modern nickels couldn't bring serious money. Even more impressive examples, with nearly perfect details, have pushed values higher. Some specialists believe that if a truly flawless example were ever confirmed, it could reach six figures, especially as demand for high-quality Jefferson nickels continues to grow. Error examples add another layer. A 1977 nickel with a dramatic error, such as a major off-center strike or a rare planchet flaw, has sold for tens of thousands of dollars on its own. These coins are rare because most errors were caught and destroyed before leaving the mint. So what does this mean for a dark, old-looking 1977 nickel? It means you shouldn't rush to judge it. That black shade might be natural. Those details might be stronger than you think. And that ordinary-looking coin could still carry features collectors search for. The lesson here is simple, but important. Age alone doesn't create value. Shine alone doesn't create value. And wear doesn't always destroy it. Sometimes, value comes from surviving heavy use, poor striking years, and decades of neglect. A coin that made it through all of that with the right details intact becomes something special. So if you ever come across a 1977 Jefferson nickel with no mint mark, darkened by time, take a moment, look closely, tilt it under the light. Study the steps, the lettering, the edges. Because even in a quiet year, even in a common series, rare survivors still exist. And sometimes, the most surprising coins are the ones that almost get overlooked. Next, and finally, we come to a coin that many collectors now wish they had paid attention to years ago. It is the 1983 Jefferson nickel with the P mint mark, and the example we're focusing on today is old, dirty, and worn from use. At first glance, it may look like just another common nickel. But this particular year holds one of the most unusual stories in modern U.S. coin history. The year 1983 was a difficult time for the United States Mint. The country was dealing with budget problems, rising costs, and changes in how coins were produced and sold. Because of these issues, something very unusual happened that year. The U.S. Mint did not produce official mint sets for collectors. This meant that almost every 1983 nickel went straight into circulation. That single decision changed everything. Most collectors rely on mint sets to preserve coins in perfect condition. Without them, nearly all 1983 nickels were handled, spent, dropped, scraped, and worn down almost immediately. Very few people saved them at the time, and even fewer saved them carefully. As a result, finding a high-quality 1983P nickel today is far more difficult than most people realize. This nickel was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which is why it carries a P mint mark. In the early 1980s, Philadelphia was producing coins at high speed. The focus was on quantity, not detail, dyes were often overused, and strike quality suffered. That means many coins left the mint with weak details right from the start. On the front of the coin, Thomas Jefferson's portrait often appears flat. His hair blends together, and the fine lines in his face disappear quickly with wear. On an old and dirty coin, years of handling add dark build-up to the low areas, making details even harder to see. On the back, Monticello stands once again. This is where collectors look most closely. The steps leading up to the building are the key feature. On most 1983 nickels, those steps are weak, broken, or completely missing. Heavy circulation only made this worse. Now let's talk about that dirty appearance. Many 1983 nickels today look dark, stained, or dull. This comes from decades of circulation, contact with skin oils, moisture, and storage in jars or drawers. While dirt lowers eye appeal, it does not automatically remove collector interest. In fact, dirt can sometimes protect the surface underneath. Collectors who know this series understand that strike quality matters more than surface color. A dirty coin with sharp details can be more valuable than a clean coin with weak features. Another important factor with 1983 nickels is error potential. During this time, the mint was pushing equipment hard. That led to mistakes. Some 1983p nickels show off-center strikes, die cracks, clipped plankets, or uneven metal flow. These errors are not common, but when they appear, collectors notice immediately. For years, the 1983p nickel was ignored. People assumed modern coins could never be valuable. But as grading services examined more examples, a pattern became clear. High-grade survivors were almost non-existent, then came the wake-up call. A sharply struck, 1983p Jefferson nickel with strong details and full steps on Monticello appeared at auction. Collectors understood right away how rare it was. Remember, no mint sets existed. This coin had somehow survived circulation untouched. The bidding climbed steadily. By the time the auction closed, the coin had sold for over $50,000. That sale changed how collectors viewed the 1983 nickel forever. Since then, a small number of high-grade examples have surfaced, but they remain extremely rare. Prices for top-condition coins have continued to rise. Experts now believe that a nearly perfect example with full steps, clean surfaces, and no signs of cleaning could reach $80,000 or more, depending on demand. Error examples add even more excitement. A dramatic mint error on a 1983p nickel has sold for tens of thousands of dollars, even when the coin showed wear. The error itself mattered more than the condition. So what about an old, dirty 1983p nickel like the one we're talking about today? It may not look impressive. It may feel ordinary, but its value is not decided by dirt alone. Collectors would ask important questions. Does it show unusually strong detail? Are the steps more complete than average? Is there an odd shape, crack, or misalignment? Does the coin weigh correctly, or does it feel off? Even one unusual feature can change everything. The lesson of the 1983 Jefferson nickel is one every collector should remember. Coins don't need to be old to be rare. They don't need to be shiny to be important. Sometimes, rarity comes from poor planning, heavy circulation, and years of neglect. This nickel survived a year when collectors had almost no chance to save clean examples. That alone makes it special. So before you dismiss a dirty, worn 1983p nickel, take a closer look. Because hidden among millions of ordinary coins are a few rare survivors, and those survivors can still surprise even experienced collectors. And with that, we close our journey through these overlooked coins. Sometimes the last coin tells the strongest lesson of all: always look twice. And that brings us to the end of today's journey through some of America's most overlooked coins. Each one may have started as simple pocket change, but as we've seen, history, rarity, and survival can turn even the most ordinary coin into something truly special. If you enjoy learning how everyday US coins can hide real value, and if you like clear, honest stories without confusion or hype, this channel was made for you. Every week, we explore American coins the way collectors really do, slowly, carefully, and with respect for the history they carry. So if you've ever wondered whether the coins in your drawer, jar, or old collection might be worth another look, make sure you subscribe. New videos are always on the way, and you won't want to miss the next surprising story. Tap the like button if this video made you see or change a little differently. Leave a comment to tell us which coin you want to learn about next. And most of all, keep looking closely, because in coin collecting, the next great discovery is often hiding in plain sight. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.